Jay Leno actually drove a Tesla semi. Crazy. Hey guys, Matt with Tips for Truckers here. And I can't believe it, Jay Leno actually drove a Tesla semi. And here's the result. I had no idea that Jay Leno had a CDL, and maybe he didn't. Maybe he just got a special permit for the video. But obviously they were with him and everything. I'm sure they stopped traffic and all that. You know, it was LA. So they stopped. I'm sure I didn't see a whole lot of traffic around him. But the thing that he really said was very interesting about it was the central seating position. And I'm very surprised how quickly he was able to acclimate to that central seating position and see around him. Now he did mention that while he was driving it, he couldn't really see the trailer in the mirrors. Now, obviously, you got two screens on each side, and it turns out they're the same screens from the Model 3. So they're using a lot of the same parts. I believe they're using the motor from the Plaid in one of the axles. And speaking of that, one thing that was very interesting was they have one axle as the highway gear. No transmission or anything, but they got one axle that has a motor designed to be efficient at highway use. And then you got another axle, obviously you got tandems, you got another axle which will kick in if the wheels are slipping, slow speed maneuvers, if it's raining, ice, or whatever at slow speed, or if you need that extra little bit of boost of torque to get you going. So you'll get a lot of torque to get you going, and then you'll just cruise on the highway gears. Pretty slick stuff, I think. Now, as we know, the Tesla has a claimed range of 500 miles. But they mentioned okay, granted that was at 55 mile an hour in California on relatively flat ground and a normal load. All normal conditions. You know, just regular highway conditions, not stop and go traffic. And I've heard from some drivers that actually drive electric semis that the stop and go traffic makes a big difference in killing your fuel mileage, much more than it does a diesel, believe it or not, which kind of surprises me. But anyway, going back to that, he did admit he slipped up, and one of the Tesla guys admitted that, okay, normally if you're driving 70 mile an hour and you're going up and down hills, it's not going to be 500 miles. So they did slip up and mention that, which I thought was pretty interesting. But the other thing they mentioned was the regenerative braking. And Jay mentioned, okay, can you adjust the regenerative braking, the amount of intensity? The guy said no, which was kind of surprising to me because you could adjust the Jake brake on a regular diesel semi-truck. But they said the brakes are relatively obsolete, and they obviously have air brakes because every single trailer has air brakes. I found that pretty interesting too. They have disc brakes, obviously, and they actually said, I believe the discs are carbon coated or something of that nature. So they obviously did a lot of research into the Tesla semi, but I really do think that they have it does have its shortcomings. I do have one gripe about the video though, is they were very secretive about the numbers and everything. They said, they said that they've made about 60 or 70, and like I said, they were really secretive about the numbers, and they always gave like a broad range. And the other thing was the price. He asked about the price, and they said, the price isn't released yet, but it's going to be very competitively priced, and it's going to pay off in the long run. So look for it to be quite a bit more expensive than a diesel-powered semi, because they emphasize, it's going to pay off on the long run, so I'm sure you're going to pay a premium up front. So we'll just have to see about that price. And I really didn't care about how secretive they were about a lot of the stats and everything. If I'm paying $250,000 for a truck, I want to know the exact mileage. I want to know the exact power. and the price and however much it is. I want to know exactly what each of those aspects of the truck is. Now, this wouldn't be a Tips for Trucks video if I did not talk about the mechanical aspect. So it still has air suspension, and like I said, doesn't have a transmission. But so with all these, they said even more so than just the general smooth shape. They said really perfecting the underneath of the trailer, the truck, making it smooth, and not having all the driveline losses causing a lot of turbulence. They said they were able to achieve a coefficient of drag that was 0.4. Now, I know when it first came out, they claimed 0.37, if I remember right, or 0.3 even. But that didn't have mirrors, that had the special hubcaps on the tires, the air fairings over top the drive wheels, and a whole bunch of other stuff that super single tires, which create less drag, less rolling resistance, and less turbulence, more aerodynamic. But all those really add up. So, and they said, well, a regular semi is around 0.08 drag coefficient. So it's about twice as aerodynamic as a regular truck. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What a lot of people miss is it's the combination of the truck and trailer that really affect the aerodynamics of it. If you just have a really aerodynamic truck and like a flatbed with a bunch of stuff on it, it's really not going to help your fuel mileage and coefficient of drag all that much. They kind of have to work together. Have the small distance between the sleeper and the head of the trailer, and all kind of things like that. So I would really look to a lot of these companies to buying I'm sure Tesla's going to come out with their trailer that complements it. And maybe we'll be able to get more than a 500-mile range. And we'll just have to see. But I was really impressed with how easily Jay got in it and was able to drive it and everything. Sure, I'm sure there was some Hollywood in there. I'm sure there was some coaching, and camera tricks and all that. And I'm sure they didn't film his first try. I'm assuming. We'll see. But I was really impressed how Jay could just get in there, boink up to a trailer and pull it and everything and maneuver it and all that, and really didn't have an issue. And he seemed pretty impressed with it, as he's impressed with his Tesla Model S. So yeah, that's my review on it. There's all the stats that you got from the video. I watched it, so you don't have to. It's about a 40-minute video. But that's pretty much everything summed up. Jay Leno actually drove a Tesla semi.